In a world where the gavel meets the badge, sometimes it's the judges who lay down the law, especially when the officers forget theirs. What happens when the long arm of the law gets a bit too stretchy? Today, we're rewinding the tape, starting with the most epic facepalms and working our way to the subtle smirks. A former police chief, Daniel Saylor, probably thought his badge was a get-out-of-jail-free card. But how the mighty fall when they're caught with their pants on fire. Saylor, sitting confidently in court, probably expected a drawn-out trial. A man of authority, sworn to uphold the law, finds himself in the hot seat, accused of perjury.
518. Mr. Saylor, you're still under oath. Is it true that you were in fact on probation for 4 counts? Official misconduct, solicitation for official misconduct, and tampering with evidence. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Were you in fact placed on probation on June 30th, 2012?
Yes, ma'am.
Finding that, I will find that your admission is on that particular.
Now you'd think a police chief, of all people, would know a thing or two about courtroom proceedings, but Saylor, in a performance worthy of a daytime soap opera, thought he could pull the wool over everyone's eyes with a few crocodile tears. He probably imagined the judge would be moved by his emotional display, but nope. The jury, perhaps still digesting their lunch, took just a smidge over an hour to call his bluff.
0, the court will adjudicate you guilty as the jury found you to be guilty. Sentence you to 8 years Department of Corrections credit for 13 days that you served. In CF 1151A, as to the 4 counts, the court will adjudicate you guilty, will revoke and terminate your probation. In each of those counts, will sentence you to a 4-year Department of Corrections sentence, each count to run concurrently, in each case to run concurrently.
The cherry on top, as he's being led away, Saylor, ever the family man, shouts out a tearful, "I love you," to his parents. Maybe next time, he'll think twice before trying to play the system. After all, in the game of law, it's always the house, or in this case, the judge, that wins. Deputy Zachary Wester thought he was auditioning for a magician's role rather than serving as a deputy. Wester thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, planting illegal substances in innocent people's vehicles. But here's the click. While our dear deputy was busy playing Houdini, his reports were singing a different tune, one that didn't quite match the melody of his body cam footage.
You ever seen this before?
No, what is that?
I'm just trying to figure out how that stuff got in your car. You're gonna go to jail today for possession of methamphetamine, okay?
Oh, man, dude, I'm serious, dude. Anything, what you want me to do, man?
Now our prosecutor, who with a keen eye noticed the discrepancy. And oh, the satisfaction when Wester was found guilty of not 1, not 2, but a whopping 19 out of 67 charges.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
Florida versus Zachary Tyler Wester. We, the jury, find as follows as to the counts charged and the information. Count 1, guilty of racketeering as charged. 7, guilty of official misconduct as charged. 9, guilty of official misconduct as charged. Count 10, guilty of official misconduct as charged.
In the end, Wester's magic show was cancelled, replaced with a 12-year residency at the state's finest barred establishment. Officer Newman Raja, the cop who apparently missed the memo on protect and serve. Now here is Corey Jones, just a guy trying to get home when his car decides to take a nap on the side of the road. Now Raja, perhaps having watched one too many action movies, decides this is his moment. A simple car breakdown escalates into a tragic shooting.
And your duties.
On a normal days, we were full uniform with the badge and the name tag. For the last, since September 30th or so, we've had a lot of vehicle burglaries in our area and everything, and we were getting hit with them a lot. So starting last week, we started with this. We were setting up decoy cars, and at midnight, I'm Alpha 1 cover shift. So basically I have beat 1, which is far out west and there's not really that much happens. So they also use me as a cover unit. If go to 94 here, go pick this call up and everything. So since I don't, in my beat, there's only PGA National and Marisol, the two communities.
Fast forward to the courtroom, and Raja's putting on quite the performance, eyes glistening with what seems like remorse. Judge Joseph Marks wasn't buying tickets to Raja's pity party. With a stern face and unwavering voice, he handed down a 25-year sentence, a clear message that no badge gives a free pass.
Find a defendant guilty of manslaughter while armed with a firearm as charged in the information. As to count 2, we found a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder as charged in the information.
You're doing a lot of bad, man, and sooner or later it's going to catch up. And my brother wasn't doing anything bad. You can see how his life was.
And for us, the audience, we're left shaking our heads, a mix of anger and satisfaction. Now, most people, when faced with a DUI charge, might show a smidge of remorse, but not our Todd. Instead, he turned his court appearance into a one-man comedy show, leaving everyone, especially the judge, scratching their heads. Judge Janet Crucker, bless her, tries to keep her cool. She's seen it all, but Pate's antics, that's a new one. Her patience wears thin, and who can blame her? It's like trying to get a toddler to admit they ate the last cookie.
This time is it your desire to change your plea from not guilty to guilty?
Do I have to answer that yes or no, or can I make somewhat of a statement?
That is a yes or no answer, sir.
Will I have the opportunity to say anything further?
If it is your intention to change your plea from not guilty to guilty, certainly you'll have an opportunity to make any statement. But if it is not your intent to enter a guilty plea at this time, then I'm going to set your case for jury trial, and you're going to stop wasting my time and everybody else's time this afternoon.
Ma'am, I'm not trying to waste your time.
Then is it your intention to enter a guilty plea at this time or not, sir?
No. Why am I wasting your time,
Mr. Chambers?
In the end, after what feels like an eternity of back and forths, Pate finally accepts his sentence, but not before giving everyone a good laugh, albeit unintentionally.
Where I think we are today is that on the one hand, the Commonwealth can enforce the terms of this agreement based on the execution. Mr. Pate, I'm talking at this point in time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
At this point in time, I'm going to sustain the Commonwealth's motion to revoke his bond. He will be taken into the custody and housed in the Breckinridge County Jail.
Your Honor, if I may speak to Mr. Chambers' motion to revoke the bond.
I've already ruled. I've already ruled at this point in time. We're done at this point in time. He's going into jail today.
Moral of the story, if you're gonna mess up, at least have the decency to own up to it without turning the courtroom into a comedy club. Now get ready, as Officer William Melendez is giving a masterclass in how not to be a cop 101. When Floyd Dent was pulled over, he probably expected a routine traffic stop, but Melendez had other plans. 16 punches to Dent's head, with fellow officers holding him down. But wait, there's a twist. Judge Vonda Evans, the real MVP. Her fiery sentencing is the stuff of legends. While Melendez tried to play the remorse card, Evans wasn't buying what he was selling.
Would the foreperson stand, please? And state your seat number only.
13.
How does the jury find the defendant, William L. Melendez, as to count 1?
In the end, Melendez got a one-way ticket to prison, courtesy of Judge Evans. Here is another tear-jerking performance of Sheriff Charlie Reeder, the man who thought he could double as a Robin Hood, but ended up more like the Sheriff of Nottingham. Enter the courtroom, and Reeder turns on the waterworks, giving Meryl Streep a run for her money.
I stand here before you today to take accountability for my actions. As a sheriff of Ohio, I shed, excuse me, I shed bad light on the office of sheriff. I can only ask that my staff, their families, the community, and my family who is here today will forgive me for the undue stress I caused them.
But Judge Patricia Cosgrove isn't here for the drama. She's got her no-nonsense glasses on and is ready to serve some piping hot justice. Reader's sob story about supporting charities doesn't move her one bit, especially when there's evidence of his gambling debts.
Where did the money come that went to your checking account? I guess that's
That's where the media reported that I had marital problems because it came from.
I want to say, first of all, I have sentenced a number of public officials. Every case is different. No two set of facts are the same. In deciding what I believe is an appropriate sentence, the court has looked at the purposes and principles of sentencing. I've read over the briefs submitted by the attorneys. I've read over the pre-sentence investigation. You know what? I have one more question for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
In the end, our misunderstood sheriff gets a 5.5-year sentence, effectively 3 years behind bars. Moral of the story: crime doesn't pay, especially when you're bad at both crime and acting. Let's take a trip to Denver, where courtrooms apparently double as WWE wrestling rings. Now here is Anthony Waller, a man just trying to understand why he's in custody. With a flair for the dramatic, Lovinger decides to give Waller a not-so-gentle nudge, which quickly escalates to a full-blown body slam.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Get on your feet. Get on your feet. Oh, man. Get on your feet. My head's open.
Judge Doris Bird isn't having any of it. She's not about to let Lovinger's WWE audition slide. She files an excessive force grievance faster than you can say police brutality. The result? Lovinger gets a 30-day timeout, aka suspension, and Waller, he gets a sweet $50K from a civil suit. Now here, meet Officer Michael Wagner, who, in a twist of fate, might have watched one too many crime dramas. He pens a report claiming Lizette Gonzalez was over the legal limit. The judge learns that poor Lizette had her license suspended, all thanks to our officer's honest mistake, or should I say wild imagination.
Not enough evidence presented for the jury to find the verdicts that they did. They didn't do all the field sobriety examinations that should have been done. I respectfully ask that this court grant the judgment notwithstanding the verdict.
But here's more. Judge Scott isn't about to let Officer Wagner's creative writing slide. He scolds the prosecutor, defending the officer's imagination, and delivers the mic drop moment, dismissing the charge.
This isn't a purely circumstantial case, and so I'm going to deny the motion for JOA.
Perhaps you can get mad at me, Your Honor, but at this point...
Why won't you... Wait a minute. Did you hear the uncontroverted testimony of this officer?
Your Honor.
Then I want you taking him up on perjury.
Your Honor.
Will you take him up for perjury?
He admitted it was a mistake, Your Honor.
No, but he lied. He lied on a sworn
Absolutely
citation.
not, Your Honor, and that is not true.
I'm dismissing. I am dismissing this charge. No. I'm dismissing the charge.
Moral of the story? If you're an officer thinking of dabbling in fiction, maybe stick to writing novels instead of reports. From imaginative reports to courtroom theatrics, it's clear some of these guys missed their calling in comedy. But thanks to our no-nonsense judges, justice had the last laugh. Remember, while uniforms can command respect, it's integrity that earns it. Until next time, stay smart and always enjoy a good chuckle at life's little ironies. Cheers to justice, served with a side of humor.